มาเริ่มกันเลยดีกว่านะครับตรงนี้RLA เนี่ยมันจะวัดโอเควัดในเรื่องของ grammar ก็คือ basic sentence structure โอเคในที่นี้เนี่ยมันจะ test ในเรื่องของนะครับ subject verb หมายความว่ายังไงมันจะ test ในเรื่องของ pronoun พอสมควรเลยซึ่งเดี๋ยวเราจะนะครับผมได้มีแพ็กเกจตัวแยกอยู่แล้วพี่รู้อยู่แล้วว่า pronoun มันค่อนข้าง boring เดี๋ยวนั้นเราเรียนโรงเรียนเตอร์มาป่ะหรือเรียนอะไรมา
จบมาจากสวิตครับผม
like Switzerland อย่างเงี้ยเหรอ
ครับผม
โอเค เมฆจบจากอเมริกามาตอนนี้มันจะไปเป็นนักบินแล้วส่วนโยกิฟอะไรที่ปีที่สอนมาโอเคสวิตเซอร์แลนด์แสดงว่าต้องเล่นสกีเก่งดิหรือว่า
Are we gonna speak English?
Well, I mean, you want me to use Thai? You want me to use English? Huh?
I think better with English.
Okay, fine. All right, that's fine. We can use English. So, you practically like over there, you study into like what grades? The thing is. Like which grade did you like complete before you got back here?
How do I tell?
Like year 8, year 7, year 9?
Year 9.
Okay, year 9. Okay, great. Not that bad. So yeah, kind of like me because like for Kirk, I finished like 9th grade and then on the 10th, the entire year, I practically like taught myself GED back in the day. So it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, okay, in Switzerland, I assume that they probably taught you English, but like you had to learn, let's say, what besides in your class, besides English, like what else do you have to study? Anything else, like for the languages?
Actually, we have to study Germany.
Okay,
but not really with English, so.
Okay, cool. So, okay. So with English, do you like, did you study a lot of grammar? Like, how much did they cover?
Not really much because we have started 8th grade.
Okay, that's fine. So what's gonna happen? Okay, now I kind of know your background. I'm gonna walk you through like the basics requirement of what you need to study in the grammar wise, but I can tell you not a lot. We actually have a packet that actually can cover all the grammar structure in English. What IELTS require you to know basically is not, I would say about 70% of all the English grammar. What do I mean by that? Like for example, you're doing pronoun. For subject, you have to know the difference between subject pronoun, object pronoun. Okay? What do I mean by that? Like, okay, so the structure would be like, okay, let's say pronoun. If you look at the chat box, I know what is subject pronoun. That's a requirement. Like, okay, I know he, she, they. And then I need to be able to distinguish the form of object pronoun. Okay? I think you learned that already. Okay? But what's going to get more complicated is you're going to have to know something like reflexive pronoun. Have you ever heard of reflexive pronoun?
I have never heard about it.
No problem. But you have to use it all the time. Like myself, yourself, himself. Yeah, right? Yeah, okay. And then next one is the possessive pronoun, which means that you are declaring that something belongs to you or that belongs to other people. That means like, here. Mean him, her, no, sorry. His, I'm sorry. His, I meant his, her, my, okay. And then, of course, you gotta have to deal with possessive pronoun. That is possessive pronoun that is actually not an adjective, but actually is noun, like hers, you know, yeah, and then mine, okay? I'm just gonna run you through. Don't worry, no stress, just cool with it, go along with it, okay? So basically, what you need to know what the heck is what is actually more important than drilling down to every grammatical element, okay? So that's the pronoun. The verbs, how are your tenses?
Tenses.
Yes, sir.
I think actually bad.
Okay. If it's bad, it's not that big of a problem, okay? Tenses here, you have to know how to use it correctly in relation to not just the time, past, present, and future, but you really gonna need to know the structure of it, okay, when you combine it with clauses. What do I mean by that is when you have to use it in combining, okay, two sentences or phrase or like, you know, clauses, something like that. But yes, you're gonna have to know, let's say, can you tell me a structure of, you know, perfect, you know, present continuous versus future simple? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I learned about it one time.
One time, like in Switzerland, 8 years ago?
Like 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Okay, no problem. Well, I believe that, okay, I do have a student who used to live in Germany. So she studied German quite a bit. You also study German. German got tenses too. So basically, English and German share similarity in you know, verb tenses. So you don't have to be worried that, okay, this is something that I really don't know. Actually, you do know. You just use it all the time. But you use it so much speaking that you haven't really realized that what kind of tenses you're using. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, like, okay, this is, I'm talking, let's say, past tense, okay, you know, I ran, okay, right now, like, okay, I'm eating, which is present continuous, and then, of course, I'm going to, you know, have a haircut, that's simple, you know, that's continuous tense that talking about near future, or something that I think I'll run down the street, which is, you know, future simple. But what I mean is you just have to know the form, the structure, the form. Let's say what I meant before, okay? Here. Like you just need to realize that, okay, I had eaten a big breakfast before I got a call that I was fired from my job. Okay, here. Don't worry. I kind of like making up sentences like this, okay? The cool part is we know what the heck is going on. You read that sentence, you know exactly. The dude had his breakfast, got a call, and yeah, you're fired. Okay, that all happened. And that's kind of scenario that you would tell your friend, like, you know, in the afternoon, but okay, that would happen in the morning. But we got to know that, okay, first part here, I had eaten, that's past perfect. Past perfect always happened first during the past time, okay? And then we got a prepositional, which is before. So what we got here is another clause that joined, that is a past simple, that I got a call, okay? That happened, this happened number one in the past. This happened later. And of course, we got this thing called relative clause. Relative clause actually modified, try to tell what happened to that call, okay? All right, sorry, here, actually got a call like this here. I haven't had my coffee, so got a call like that. So we know that now, this is noun. This is relative clause right here, okay? This relative clause also has the past simple structure, okay? But in a passive style. What I mean by passive, this means I was fired. I'm the one, I didn't fire myself, somebody fired me. So I use verb to be and past participle. Are you following me? You don't need to understand it yet, you just need to see the flow. Why do we need to know the tense and the form of it? So what you just learned, what I have taught you right now, which is very easy. We got past perfect. We had a form that had and verb past participle. That's always going to happen first in the past. And then I got a call, which is I got, which is a irregular verb from get, past simple, that happened later. And we got a clause that modified a call, which is now. Okay, this is a now, a call. Okay, I was fired. Was is verb to be, and past participle is telling that I got fired. So I was fired by someone. Okay? So don't worry. This is practically what you need to know in verbs for GED. GED is not going to test, something like you go to college, you got to write an academic paper. No. They just want to make sure you're not going to screw up on your job reports, like on your emails. So of course, if you can't write good sentences and tenses on your email, I don't think you're going to have a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's basically, okay, what GED wants from you. So you don't have to worry. Sentences, which is another part, okay? Basically what they want from you, okay? They just want you to know how to be able to compose complex sentences, okay? Or at least a compound sentence. What I mean by that is, for example, okay, I'm going to type in the chat box here. I say, I ate a big breakfast. Okay? Well, this is cool. We all understand that you just had a big breakfast. Okay? This is something like a 5-year-old would tell you, okay, in the late morning or something. Well, that's what we call a simple sentence. Okay? But when I start to tell something, with more information, I ate a big breakfast. I ate a big breakfast, and my boss called me. What happened to the second part is that is a compound sentence. Compound sentences happen when you use main conjunctions. Do you know what is main conjunctions?
No.
Don't worry. Main conjunction is conjunctions that has, okay, this is a list of main conjunctions which you use every day. Okay? We have like a small acronyms here, fanboys. They use it like since I was like even younger than your age, but anyway, it helps. You got for, you got and, okay, you got but, you got or, you got yet, you got so. Those are main conjunctions. Yeah. Cool? Okay. So, don't have to be worried. So that's practically you use main conjunctions to join two sentences to make compound sentence. Cool? Did you see that I ate a big breakfast and my boss called me? Now, when we have a piece of information, we're going to use a simple sentence, but we start getting more information, which is equally important. We have to use compound sentences, and then we have main conjunctions to join them, okay? But we got to get into a situation where you have to focus on something, okay, but there are bits of pieces of information that you're going to have to attach to it to actually make the thought complete. You got it? Okay? So that's where the complex sentence comes into play, okay? So what's going to happen here is, of course, up there, right here, I'm going to put it on red. this is complex sentence, okay? But just for the sake of demonstration, you see it right away. I ate a big breakfast. I ate a big breakfast, and then my boss called me. So my boss called me. My boss called me. My boss called me that I was fired from my position. See, my boss called me that I was fired from my position. What happened was that I was fired from my position. That's a relative clause. That's an adjective clause. You don't have to worry. Adjective clause is practically try to explain more about me. What happened about me? Okay? Call me is direct object. So that I was fired practically just kind of solidified you don't have a job anymore. That's a complex sentence. But the main focus was my boss called me. So you got it? Yeah. So basically, let me recap for you real quick. Simple sentence is practically tell you a piece of information. Done. Deal. When you got something with more information, equally important, you use main conjunction to join and tell the story, okay? But if you got a focus of story and then you got additional things that just kind of tell the details, you use complex sentence. Cool? And then Yoshi was kind of like, well, Kirk, I use this every day, man. Why do I have to learn all this theory? Well, that's what happened in high school, dude. Okay? But the practicality why you have to learn something like this is very important because it will help you when you need to write your email about your job. Yes. Okay? All right. Next one, fragments. Okay? Do you understand what fragments mean?
No.
What is the word itself, man? Fragment. What does it mean? Do you know? Yeah.
I think like fragments, like
yeah,
piece of
exactly, dude.
Like that.
Small pieces of anything. Like okay, you gotta have like a chunk of something. Okay, like let's say well I don't know. Do you know Gallagher maybe?
No, I don't know.
Okay, that's like an old American joke. So I think your generation is like, what the hell's Gallagher? Okay, let's say you frag someone. Fragments. Guy got blew up into pieces. So that's frag too. Okay. So fragments in English is basically what it means is you're not writing a sentence. And then Yoshi would be like, what do you mean by I'm not writing sentences? Well, sentences at the basic core, it has subject and it has verb. But oftentimes, you're going to write it the way that you want to speak it. You're going to be missing something, either subject or verb. That's not a sentence anymore. That's a fragment. Like, for example, here. Like, let's say, I'm going to make an example here about fragment real quick, and you'll get it right away. Let's say here. Oh, okay. Okay, floss, real good. I guess, do you know floss? Gotta know floss. Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So let's say floss real good. Everyone know, okay, the dude floss pretty hard. Okay. so practically, what it means by okay, he's doing good floss, but that's a fragment because that's missing what? That's missing subject. You just say floss real good. But if you say he flosses real good, that's practically a sentence now. That's pretty much it, okay? All right? And next one, punctuation. Punctuation is practically everything that you gotta use, man. Punctuation. You mean like comma, period, semicolon, colon, quotation, apostrophes, okay? I know that on your text, you got to use punctuation in your text at least. What do you use these days? I know you don't use period, but do you use like comma, baby?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to. Because The world without punctuation, it would be really chaotic. Can you imagine you type non-stop and you don't even have a punctuation? You look like a jackass. Okay, let me use that word. Yes, because if you talk to a friend, okay, you chat to a friend and the dude do not use punctuation at all. Okay, so we're not gonna know where it's gonna stop, where it's gonna begin. Are you gonna finish now? And of course, on chat, if you use period all the time, people are gonna think like, are you crazy? But no, in actuality, in the real world, when you have to write a report, when you have to finish an email, you gotta have complete punctuations. So that's what I'm trying to explain to you. And what GED requires you to do is, of course, you can write your email to your boss and you would look professional, okay? So you don't have to worry that, am I gonna need like perfect punctuation to go to college? Well, in a way, yes, but for GED, they just kind of require that you can write good punctuations that you won't make any errors. Like, it's example, you press F7 on your Microsoft Words, it shows no errors. Yeah, that's good enough for GED, okay? All right, cool. Yeah, no, don't worry. I know there's a lot of information for you to absorb. You're like, man, I don't know. I'm going to cut it. I can tell you right now, okay? Meg is kind of like Kurt. He's like an opposite of you. Don't worry. He's like, I don't want to speak English. I live in America. Just tell Thai to me. He passed. So you would pass because you use English, okay? So I'll leave it at that. So don't worry. No stress, okay? But right now, this kind of, you just have to follow what I'm just trying to point it out, okay? So basically, this is something that what I told you, okay, in the past, let's say 15 minutes or so here, that is something that they were expected you to learn, you know, in the minimum of 3 to 4 years in high school, okay? But since we don't have 3 or 4 years, we can definitely condense into something that you understand, okay? The fundamental grammatical requirement in GED is for them to teach you not to use spoken English in the writing context. That's it. Because that happens all the time in America, man. Yes. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It'll be like, yo, like, I got this TPS report, which is kind of like a completion report. What are you trying to tell me here, Dylan? I mean, you got him and her, and then you got bad punctuation. That happens all the time in America, okay? I would say that was like 60%, okay? So that's bad. That's something you're not going to get a promotion. And that's what GED try to help you. That's it, okay? So let's say next part. Since you took the test so many times, you don't have to worry. They divide into 3 sections. Let me ask you about this section here real quick here, man. Were you able to complete it on time, or there were some questions you didn't make it on time, like for all those tests that you took?
It was pretty much that I didn't make it on time.
Gotcha. Was it reading, or was it the grammar, or the writing part?
I think it was